Let's go watch it in 2D. No, let's go watch it in 3D. But if we watch it in 3D, then is it worth the cost?
You were a top student, but look at you now. You can't keep using your father's disappearance as an excuse to act out.
Is that his work? What's it about?
Their dad, he wanted to touch the stars. Imagine that the ant here wants to get to her other hand.
The quickest option is to walk across the street.
But it turns out a straight line is not the shortest distance between 2 points. Not if you use a fifth dimension.
It's outside of the rules we know of time and space. So the ant arrives in my hand instantaneously.
So you fall to space.
More likely wrinkle it. Where are we?
We heard a cry out in the universe.
I thought he was alive.
We believe he is, and we're here to help you find him. We are in search of warriors.
Warriors who serve the good and the light in the universe.
You're kidding.
Do I look like I'm kidding?
A little.
I'm not.
I'm not.
Your father's trapped by evil energy,
It's too strong for our light.
and the only one who can stop it is you. Be a warrior.
My love is always there, even if you can't see it.
Do you trust me?
I trust you!
Hello. This is Adolf Vega with,
3D or 2D, and this is Jake Jarvis.
and today we're doing a spoilerific review of A Wrinkle in Time. So if you have not seen it, this is your one and only warning. Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. This podcast is brought to you by 3D Wiggle. 3D Wiggle provides software that lets you convert your 3D images into 3D GIFs and or movies that you can easily share on Facebook or Twitter. We have a 20% off coupon in the link in the description, and we also have deals from Amazon, and we also have a Patreon. So please click in the description to get more info. All right, let's go for the spoilers. All right, so, okay, the movie starts off with the little girl getting like bullied at school, and like she hits the bully with the ball, and I was like, yeah, go for it. And I was like, yeah, that girl deserved it.
Yeah, he did.
And that girl was especially mean. I think her name was Veronica or something. And I was like, making fun of the
and the teachers talking in front of Charles Wallace.
Yeah,
that was bold.
Like, are they that oblivious? Really? I mean, they're supposed to be watching the kids. It's just like, come on, give me a break. And it's like people. I guess it's been a while since I've been a kid, but are they gonna mock you for losing your dad? That's just like so cruel.
That's so 1962.
So it's just like, come on, man. And then, we have some nice, warm, touching scenes, like in the back, that with the dad, with the kids and the mom, and it's a very gentle, sweet nature thing. I actually kind of, felt that that was pretty decent. They have chemistry somewhat, between the characters, and I actually didn't like Chris Pine wearing a beard. I didn't think it fit him, but that's just me. Did it bother you or no?
It was okay. I mean, just made him look more like a dad. kind of an unkempt scientist dad who has some nutty theories about time and space.
Yeah, and that the frequency of love lets you travel through space.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, I was trying to not laugh in the theater.
It's like, okay, that's out there, man. And then like he gets stuck, and then okay, what's the first one? Is it what's her name? What's it call it? Or Mrs. Who?
Mrs. What's it?
It just like goes into the house, and like
Mhm.
the mom is like, who are you? And it's like, yeah, legit, get out of my house. Who are you? You're just some crazy person, And it's like, yeah, she probably could have been a little more rough on the kid, on Charles. And like, you do not invite strangers, especially weird people, into the house,
Yeah, and I mean, and Charles could have told her who she was, and ended this game of
who is she? Why are they here? Oh, you're not ready to know. Oh, come on.
We are. We spent $15+ to see this in 3D. We're ready.
So then, they come back, and then, the other ones come back, and they're just like, they invade their house, and they're like, I mean, this Charles kid, he's ballsy. I give him that, but he's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's like, you don't just go into strangers' houses, and especially like a creepy house like that. Like they really kind of played up how, eccentric the Mrs. Who, or what's her name, or
yeah. I know this is like an Abbott and Costello routine.
On the St. Louis team, we have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
That's what I want to find out. I want you to tell me the names of the fellas on the St. Louis team.
I'm telling you, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
So, yeah, and then they come back to the backyard, and then some guy just, appears out of nowhere. Oh, hi, I just feel like I need to be here for this. Okay, who are you? You're just some neighborhood kid? Okay, cool.
Yeah, like I said, Calvin is, in the series, he's a big deal, but they're like leaving everything on the table for sequels that I think they assume are going to happen.
Yeah,
it's really irritating. I mean, you could best foot forward, and they should have been information overload with these characters. They might have worked better, so you would know that how important Calvin is.
Yeah, and like for me in my head, I was thinking, okay, if this was like a TV show, season 1 would be, the father growing up with the kids, you're getting to know the kids, you're getting to know the school, and then like the cliffhanger for season 1 would be the father disappearing, and like season 2 would be them trying to live without the father, and then in season 2, slowly but surely you meet up with the 3 misses, and you get to know them and you trust them, and then you meet Calvin, and then season 3 you finally go out and explore all the different worlds, and then season 3 wraps up the entire series, and that's how you do it, and have enough information there that you can feel like you got everything covered and don't feel lost, and you like the characters, and it just felt like they rushed so much there.
I mean, this was like the running time. On one hand, I mean, the movie dragged, and that was because they're telling you, not showing you. All they're showing you are these beautiful costumes and beautiful scenes. And it was like this movie felt like it was edited to the bone.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Disney trots out, a super director's cut to try to milk more money out of this, when the footage should have been there to begin with.
So, like, they haze into another dimension, and, the mom is... I actually give the credit to the girl. Hey, I gotta tell mom we're leaving. But they just leave. And the mom is just they never go back to the mom until whenever they come back at the end of the movie. But like, is the mom just okay? I guess the kids are outside playing for God knows how much time. You know, totally
Yeah.
unsupervised. Okay, maybe they're okay, unsupervised outside play, cool. What's retro, but I mean, at least figure out where are my kids. I guess with the space time continuum, maybe they left immediately after they came back or something, so that way the time it was like minutes. So we go to the first planet, and like then it's like a planet, I don't know, and it had like these weird spires in the background. It was pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And then like they had the flowers, and like, oh, you just gotta talk to them, and then like they talk in color, and I was like, what are you smoking, man? The flowers talk in color. Okay, what does that mean?
This is the kind of stuff that they did on Doctor Who, which I'm starting to wonder how much of Doctor Who was inspired by this book, at least the early days. And I think the problem this book suffers from is it took it way too long to come to the screen. So a lot of the stuff, the story, has already been told in other films and other stories. So none of this seems fresh and new to us.
So then Mrs. Who decides to twirl like Wonder Woman in the 70s and then change into another form, which is kind of weird because like, Oprah was like, oh, you shouldn't be giving nudity for the kids. And it's like, wait, but is it nudity because she's changing to a different species? And it's like, but we don't really see that. We just see her spinning around in a circle, and it doesn't make any sense. And then she becomes a leaf monster that flies. And it's like, well, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
And they start flying. They're like, what is going on here? And the kids are like, oh, we can fly with lift. And I was like, are you crazy? Why would you do that? And then they actually fall. Calvin falls.
Calvin becomes the prince that needs to be rescued.
And I thought it was kind of good. I was like, okay, good. He falls. You learn a lesson because you can't be just flying. It doesn't make any sense to fly. I guess you're kids and you don't know anything, but I mean, come on.
No, he's kind of because usually in movies like this, it's the girl and she's in danger all the time. He takes that role.
Yeah, and the flowers get into a pyramid and try to rescue him somehow, but it doesn't work. I don't know it, and the whole thing was pointless because they don't know what happened.
Yeah.
So then they go to another planet. What planet is this?
One is Kalamazoo, and the other I can't even remember the name.
It was Orion.
For a universe-spanning story, they seem to not be planet hopping that much. Just a couple of planets.
Yeah. So I think the next one was the Orion, where they meet it's a Ganathanaticus guy who wants to balance, and like if you have to balance,
happy medium.
Okay, yeah, and then he wants to like.
Now the 3D in the cave was pretty effective.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And then the cave, you could tell the kids were just like playing on it wasn't any real threat they'll fall down, but it just was like really CGI area there, and it's like you have to balance your mind and believe, and it's like, okay, sure, I'll go with this. And then like they talk about the It, which is like, really, that's the name of the creature, the evil presence is It. Just,
yeah.
Okay. And then it's like, okay, this black thing in the sky that like is tentacles or something. I don't know how to explain. How do you explain what that It was in the sky?
To me, it looked like a black crystal.
Yes, that's a good example. Like, like the crystal entity from Star Trek: Next Generation.
Perfect analogy there. If you've never seen that, well, you should watch Star Trek Next Generation because it's an awesome show.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
yeah, your kids would enjoy it a lot more than this movie. Trust me.
And there's like 7 seasons and like 5 movies. So anyway, then they talk about it being more than just a physical presence, which I actually kind of liked. That it corrupted minds and caused anxiety and stress. I think, okay, I'm actually kind of digging this idea here. What'd you think of that?
That was a good idea, except the anxiety and stress. But then Charles Wallace just goes on this major monologue about how that I was like, okay, are you mad because did they love him too much or not enough? I mean, his monologue was all over the place when he was ranting and raving. And of course, it was so awkward because it didn't sound like a child speaking. It sounded like one of those adult actors they always dub in for kids and TV commercials.
Yeah, he sounded too smart. He sounded like, reading the script that I'm a genius. Look how smart I am, And like that either works or it doesn't. And I kind of feel like it kind of didn't, but I kind of liked him. He was like the one actor that I found it was memorable. I don't know if memorable is a good thing or a bad thing. I kind of think, but because like, I don't know if you ever watched Young Sheldon. I actually kind of like how they do Sheldon in this. It feels believable. It doesn't feel like it's too inauthentic of a kid talking that way and being this way.
Yeah, unfortunately, they didn't go that way with Charles Wallace.
It's just a smart aleck that knows everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. With a voice that sounds like a woman dubbing in for a kid.
And they go to another. And then apparently somehow the 3 misses lose their powers, which was like, what? I thought they were God. I don't understand. I thought they were gods. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. Are they gods or are they just cosmic beings or what?
Yeah, I just want to know why, if they're these infinite god beings, why are they using the titles Mrs.? I mean, that implies there's a Mister.
Yeah. I don't know.
It just was just a weird thing that sounded so antiquated.
The whole 3, I guess the magical creatures, I don't know. And then like Oprah, like not knowing what size she wants to stay. That was really weird. I was like, okay, she wants to be giant, but like no one else noticed how giant she was on Earth. And then, okay, so then they have to go on their own quest. And like they go to like a planet with trees and like there's like a tornado going after them or something. And then Charles Wallace just disappears and it's like, okay. And he's
yeah. And then they go to the beach, the most crowded beach
ever.
And
like they have all this food and it's like they had a scene before that where like the kids were like, oh, you can't trust these moms that are like with all these kids playing with a red ball in a cul-de-sac. And then they're like, oh, are you hungry? Can you want to come inside? And then, the main girl, she was like, no, we can't trust her. Remember, they said not to trust anyone. And like, okay, oh yeah, they're smart. They'll remember this. And then, oh, we're now onto this other desert planet, which, in the movie, it seems like 10 minutes. Maybe it was a longer amount of time to get hungry, but it's like, they haven't been out that long, And now, okay, I'm hungry. I'm going to go ahead and eat this really odd person's food with like,
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly it seemed really abrupt that the kid becomes evil.
Oh, yeah, that was just out of left field. And, there was no build-up, no nothing. Bam. He just is like, dun, dun, dun. I'm on its team.
You need to just follow me now. It's like, what? When that happened? Why? I thought he was a chosen one. I thought he would... Fine. All right. And then you go to this, they keep feel that the dad is still present somewhere, but they don't understand how, and they don't really explain how they find him or why he got there.
Yeah, they just do these things that look like I'm watching an episode of Numbers, and then walk in a spiral, and dun dun dun, there's Mr. Murray.
Yeah, and like in a whole white room, and they have, like you said, the numbers, like they have, I guess it was supposed to signify the architect, and an architect thinking of how multi-dimensional things work, and like building up staircases and invisible things, and understanding how architecture works. And I don't know. And Chris Pine is like, I don't understand you. And then that room he was in was really out there. It's like a pink room with like multiple layers. I don't know how to explain that.
And at this point, I was just kind of sitting back and feeling like I'm on a ride in one of those fun houses, and you expect the roller coaster to go up and down and do things, and then you realize you're just going in a circle.
So then they're like, no, we can't have him. And then like something pulls them apart or something, and like they get pulled. Charles and the daughter, the sister, get pulled into the it zone, or like their home planet, and she has to confess that she loves her brother, and that the love of a sister to her brother is enough to destroy the it and save the universe.
Okay, so why did they need Meg Murray? Because I'm sure Mrs. Witch, Mrs. Whatsit, or Mrs. Who have a sibling, or they know somebody that's more powerful that has a sibling. And if they needed to stop the it, why did they wait 4 years? What I want to know. They waited 4 years before they contacted Meg.
Yeah, and so the love of adopted brother, which, hey, I'm okay with that. I love your brother, cool. But that's enough. I would kind of think it would be the other way around. That maybe it was like the love of a parent to his daughter would be a stronger force in the universe. I'm sorry, I mean, biological, thing that you raised and is part of you. But okay, whatever. What love of the brother, sure, whatever. They're not that old either. They've been together for 4 or 5 years, so I don't know how much love you could have with your sibling in that time, but let it go.
Yeah, and it's especially I don't know. I mean, me, I would have left him. I would have wrote him off and left him.
And of course, the other guy is just missing. I don't know where he went. He's just like Calvin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not exactly a self-rescuing prince.
And then he comes. They come back to Earth, and then like the mom meets the. I thought that scene was so anticlimactic. Like you haven't seen your husband in 4 years. You run to him crying. You sell that scene. I know you're shocked, but you get over it and you run to your husband. That's not so hard to do. Why is that not in the script? Really? So I guess everything is fine and dandy after this point. The bitch of a Veronica neighbor stopped being mad at her for some reason and is okay with things, and now everything's fine. The misses are okay, are healed, and the thing is bad, and I don't know. The acting of the kids. I hate to be critical of the acting of kids because not necessarily their fault, but it's the director's fault of not being able to get their emotions and not being able to write a script that really gives them, that makes their talents be visible. You don't have to
Film
have a kid.
editor.
Yeah. You
And
don't
this
have to.
really needed to be edited differently. Of course, I have no idea what footage they actually got. This is just a disappointment. Heck, the more we talk about it, the more disappointed I am.
Yeah, and I still kind of like it. I just think it could have been so much better. I don't think it's a complete failure, 100% garbage movie. It's still under, but it's could have been so much better. That's why it's disappointing, because you see the potential there. You have a good core idea. You have interesting characters and a scenario that's unique. At least it was unique in the 60s. And now it just kind of feels, trite and cliche, And the actors, I have to keep attacking the kid actors. I hate doing it, but they could have done so much better. You have examples of kid actors and directors that know how to bring out the best of them, Not all of them have to be like The Sixth Sense and, Haley Joel Osment, but they could be better. They could be good, and that's where it disappointed me a lot. And it's like, okay, just in case you didn't hear the score from our spoiler-free version, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. And you gave it what again?
Gave it a 5 out of 10.
So it's not atrociously bad. It's not a 1 or a 2. But it's definitely, it could have been a lot better, Any other final thoughts on this movie, Jake?
Not really. I think we drove a stake through its heart.
I think we got everything worked out on this, and it's an interesting idea. Maybe it could be a good TV show. I kind of feel it's a kind of similar to Lemony Snicket and how it was a really rushed movie, but having a TV show where they actually explain things out, really worked well. And like have this as a Disney TV show, and really explain things out. Have 3 seasons. There you have a good idea that could work itself out. Don't try to rush it into a movie that barely makes sense. Because like in some ways I like the Lemony Snicket movie more than the TV show, but in other ways I really like the TV show more because it explains it. Have you watched the Lemony Snicket movie and Lemony Snicket TV show or no?
Oh, the Lemony Snicket movie is one of the few movies I walked out on it. And I binged the TV show. I pretty much watched it all in one sitting. I was so transfixed with it. I loved the Netflix adaptation of Lemony Snicket. It was. I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, I think they hit it out of the park. I think the movie has the same story elements. It has the same thing, but just so rushed. And I love how Lemony Snicket, which we're kind of getting on a tangent here, and we'll wrap up pretty soon. But I love how Lemony Snicket spoils their own show, and like breaks the fourth wall, and like really plays up, and you get to know the kids and the scenario, and that's what this could have used. Just play it up, have your fun, and spend the time you need to develop this and make this into a bigger story. And it's not good enough, and it could have been better, and that's basically it. All right. Anything else? Last words.
I think that's it.
All right. Well, thanks again for listening. Bye.
Adios.
A Wrinkle in Time, rated PG, March 9th.
All right, so that's going to be it for this podcast.
We now have a Patreon, and the link is in the description. Thanks for watching.
And we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, little bit everywhere. Just look for us 3D or 2D. And of course, review us on iTunes. And if you want to write us a letter, our email address is email3dortwo2d@gmail.com. So that's going to be it. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.